Okay, so I was telling about bryophytes. Bryophytes have gametophytic. The main, the prominent uh, generation is gametophytic, and the sporophytic body is small and hidden inside the gametophyte and uh, lives as a parasite or saprophyte on the gametophytic body. So the bryophytes are uh, mostly moist-loving plants, non-muscular and terrestrial plants which have multicellular diploid sporophyte lives as a separate on an independent in which the so bryophytes are non-muscular terrestrial plants of moist habitats in which a multicellular diploid sporophyte lives as a parasite on an independent multicellular haploid gametophyte that develops multicellular jacketed sex organs. So the gametophyte is independent haploid and the main generation, and it develops multicellular jacketed sex organs, uh, which after fertilization give rise to sporophyte, which is diploid and multicellular, and it is uh, lives uh, on the gametophyte. It doesn't have independent existence. The plants are usually small and seldom achieve great heights because they need moisture. The roots are absent. Instead, rhizoids are present, which are unicellular or multicellular, mostly multicellular. The accessory spores are not formed. Vegetative reproduction is quite common through fragmentation, tubers, gamete, buds, adventitious branches. The sex organs are multicellular and jacketed. Male is called antheridium, female is called archegonium. As I told, they have a flask-shaped archegonium, which is tubular neck and swollen venter. Venter or the basal part is swollen, spherical. It contains the oosphere or egg, and necks are usually 5-6. Neck have 5-6 neck canal cells. Then sporophyte of bryophyte is also called sporogonium, as it is attached to attached and dependent on the gametophyte. Then, as I told, there are four divisions: Hepaticopsida, that is liverworts. Examples are Markansia and Rixia. Then, the second is Bryopsida. Example is Veneria, Polytrichum, and Sphagnum moss. And then, that is peat moss. It is also called peat moss and used as a water absorbing material. Then, the rest are there are two more subdivisions, as I told initially: Bryopsida, Hepaticopsida, and then Salopsida and Lycopsida. Sorry, Anthropsida. The third one is Anthropsida. Next is Pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are uh, vascular plants. These are the plants which uh, Pteridophytes are seedless vascular plants, cryptogamic plants that have that has sporophytic plant body. This plant body is also mainly sporophytic. So in algae, it can be both gametophytic or sporophytic as the main plant body. In bryophytes, its main plant body is mostly gametophytic, not mostly, always. And in pteridophytes, it is sporophytic. The main plant body is sporophytic. Sometimes isomorphic alternation of generation is also found, in which both the plants look similar, but they may be either sporophyte or gametophyte. That is called isomorphic alternation of generation. Uh, so the in these pteridophytes, so they are sporophytic, and they have very inconspicuous gametophyte. Small the gametophyte contains small antheridia and embedded archegonia with four-rod neck. Vascular tissue developed for the first time in pteridophytes. That is, uh, so these are first terrestrial plant. Meiospores are formed inside sporangia by sporic meiosis. Spores may be similar as in majority, but uh, maybe heterosporous also. That is two different type of spores, the microspores and megaspores. So this heterospory is origin of seed habitat. Okay. So pteridophytes also usually occur in damp shady places, sometimes extend to sand also. Examples of pteridophytes are Selaginella, Adiantum, Equisetum, Drypteris, Marsilia, Salvinia, Azola, etc. So, uh, as I told earlier, they are divided into four classes: Salapsida, Lycopsida, Spinopsida, and uh, F- Pteropsida, or this is also called Phelicopsida. So, Salapsida has Silotum has one of the example. Lycopsida have Lycopodium and Selaginella. Selaginella is called bog moss or pit moss. It has a trailing, hanging, or erect evergreen uh, body, sporophytic uh, body, plant-like, and it is also called a resurrection plant. The These leaf-like structures are present on stem-like structure, which is called ligules. The leaf-like structures are called ligules, and they also uh, give rise to roots. Uh, so roots are adventitious. They develop either directly from stem or at the top of special leaflet. Positively geotropic structures called rhizophores. The roots are also called rhizophores. Rhizophores are peculiar to Selaginella. They develop from either base of the stem or region of stem forking. So next one is Spinopsida hostels. The example is Equisetum. They have on one node many leaf-like structure which are actually branches. They emerge. So overall, this body looks like tail of horse. So it is called horsetail. Pteropsida is a uh, The examples of Pteropsida is like Ophioglossum, Diapteris, Teres, the ferns. The ferns are which the if you see this ferns, then they are Pteropsida, like Teres and Diapteris. Okay, so Salvinia, Azolla, they are also Pteropsida. Now, next is Spermatophyta or Phanerogames. As per earlier division, they are seed plants. They are divided into what two phylums. One is Gymnosperm and another is Angiosperm. So Gymnosperms have naked seeds and Angiosperms have double fertilization as the characteristic feature. So Gymnosperms are divided into uh, pine, Litopsida, Cycopsida, and Conif- Coniferopsida. So, in conifers, Pinus is there. In Cycopsida, Cycas is their representative species, and in Nitopsida, Nitum is there. So, Gymnosperms are seed plants without flowers or plants with naked seeds. So gymnosperms are a small group of seed plants which are represented by only 900 living species, and out of this around 64 gymnosperms are found in India. Only these many species are found in India. So all gymnosperms are perennial and woody, forming either bushes or trees. They some are very large trees like Sequoia sempervirens. Uh, it can go up to hundreds of meters, and Jamia is the smallest gymnosperm. Jamia pygmea is 26 centimeter only, so only this much height plant tree. So seeds are not inside the fruit, so they are called naked fruit plant, a naked seed plant. Two type of sporophylls, that is macrosporophylls and megasporophylls, are usually aggregated to form distinct cones or stabili. Pollen cones or male cones and seed cones or female cones respectively. So cones are there on the cones, sporophylls are there um, on female cones, megasporophylls on male cones, microsporophylls. Seed contain a food-laden tissue or endosperm, which is for future growth of embryo into seedling. This is female gametophytic tissue. Endosperm is triploid in angiosperm but haploid in gymnosperms. Pollination is direct, as stigma is absent, so pollen grains reach the micropylar end of the ovules. Pollination is usually by wind. Female gametophyte contains archegonia. Male gametophyte produces only two male gametes or sperms. Generally, one of them is functional. Extreme water is not required for transport of male gametes, like in bryophytes and pteridophytes. Now, let us see what are there in the cycads. Cycas is the main species that has coralloid roots, and cycas are Dioecious, that means there are two species, male and female plants are different. The circinate tyrix is there in the top, in the growing leaves in the bud. That means they are curled like this. They, the leaves are curled like this. Then vegetative reproduction is by fleshy bulbils. Then let us talk about uh, pinus. Pinus is, as I told you, they are large plants. They uh, not pinus, the conifers. The large plants. The example is pinus, thuja, araucaria, juniper, abies, picea, cedrus. All these are found in usually Himalayan region or hilly areas. Pinus also produce separate male and female cones, and they are also used for decoration sometime. And they uh, produce a lot of pollens. So all the air becomes yellow during this pollination season. When the air become dry, pollen grains are uh, spread into the air, and air becomes almost slightly yellow. Then next is Nitops jingoids. So they uh, Nitopsida uh, in which Nitum is one of the representative uh, plant. Okay. Next, angiosperm. Angiosperm shows double fertilization. That is, one fertilization give rise to embryo. One fertilization give rise to embryo. Another is uh, give rise to endosperm. So they have the in the female the gametophyte is only embryo sac is gametophyte. So they produce flowers, and the flowers may be containing both pollen as well as egg, or maybe only one of them. So the flowers contain anther and uh, this pistil. So this from the anthers spores, the from the anthers microsporangium mother cells are there, which give rise to microspores or pollen grains, which are the actually gametophytic generation, which give rise to pollen tube, which is male gametophyte, and in female it is the ovary contains ova or ovum, which give rise to embryo sac, and in that contains 8 cells, 7 celled and 8 nuclei, and then from the male gametophyte, uh, two generative cells are there. They fuse with this polar nuclei as well as uh, one egg cell. So egg cell fusion with egg cell give rise to embryo, and fusion with polar nuclei give rise to endosperm, and then heart-shaped embryo is formed, and uh, which is present in seed. So At this stage, the dormancy takes place and seed may remain dormant for a long time, and upon arrival of suitable condition, it will germinate. So we have seen that plant. This is the introduction of plant kingdom, and there are many disciplines of plant kingdom, which is many disciplines in which plants are taught, like mycology, which is study of fungus, uh, bryology, uh, study of bryophytes. Then we have taxonomy, which is uh, so these are the various disciplines of botany. Taxonomy is regarding classification of plant. Then we have uh, dendrology, which is about the age of plant, determining the age of plants through rings, and ecology, which studies the environment, the function of ecosystem. So this will all the disciplines we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.